is a WLNT special report.
Can you see her, Tina? That's fine.
Okay, not before.
Yeah,
That's all right, we don't need
I'm going to finish the radio anyway. Are we ready? It's yours on. Sure. All right. Well, thank you all for being here with us this morning, and we certainly appreciate it. Lenoir City certainly is opened up for business, and we thought it was important that we get together this morning and to relay all that. The restaurants are opening up has been open at 50% capacity. Of course, the hair salons, barbershops, nail salons, tanning beds or tanning salons are certainly open, and everyone seems to be following the CDC guidelines. I've been asked numerous times about the playgrounds and the pool opening. They will open on May the 30th unless the governor comes out with some different guidelines before then. And of course, City Hall and LCUB is open for business and at full capacity. And certainly, let me say that I certainly appreciate Mayor Harris and Mayor Bradshaw and the Greenback Mayor, along with the Philadelphia Mayor, for their support and working together. As we said early on, I believe that that's what the people of Loudon County wants, and certainly we have done that. And Mayor Bradshaw, Mayor Harris, certainly appreciate you all very much. And with that being said, we'll take some questions afterwards, but I'll turn it over to Mayor Bradshaw.
Thank you, Mayor Aikens, for hosting us this morning. Thank you all for coming. The Loudon County, we are pretty much open for business across the board. Now, the one exception will be the county clerk's office. We are still we're restricting the amount of people in the building. And so the services are still a little bit limited as far as you can get your driver's license, not renewed yet, there on site. But we're encouraging people to use the online services as much as possible, especially with title renewals. You can get your car registration renewed online and save yourself a trip. Our convenience centers are back open as well, full bore. We're accepting paint, and our household hazardous waste is once again opened up back up for service. And so, and just to echo what Mayor Aikens said, is couldn't be any happier about the way Loudon County has behaved, and I don't know if behaved is the right word, has reacted to this pandemic. Every restaurant I've went to, everybody is doing what they're supposed to do, and I think part of that teamwork is part of what's helped us keep our numbers relatively low here inside of Loudon County. It's just a great thing. It says a lot of great things about our communities, our cities, and our county. And so, as we move forward, we're still going to maintain that we need to be safe. We need to maintain our social distancing as much as possible, but continue to work together. Like I said, I'll be very brief this morning. We can talk about that.
You can.
One thing I've had several questions about, I think the other mayors have as well, is the Highway 11 yard sale. I spoke with Mayor Miller as well in Philadelphia. Mayor Birchfield doesn't necessarily have Highway 11 in Greenback, but I think we're all in pretty much concurrence that we think it should go forward. That is an important source of revenue for some folks, and it's also a way for us to continue to increase our tax revenue, because people are going to eat, stop and get gas and such. So be safe about it. This has a potential to be a more risky situation than normal, but at the same time, we've done a great job. We'll continue to do that great job, and I think we'll all be okay. And this time I'll turn it over to Mayor Harris.
Thank you, Mayor Bradshaw and Mayor Aikens for hosting us this morning, and I echo Mayor Aikens' comments about cooperation and working together. We've tried to continue that, and I know I've had full support from both of those gentlemen and their offices. Loudon City Hall and Loudon utility lobbies are opening up this week. Customers are still encouraged to utilize the online payment drive-through service and pay your phone bills. You can pay your bill by phone to minimize personal contact as much as possible. As both mayors have mentioned, we need to stress that personal distancing and those kind of things, personal responsibility, social distancing, all those things are important and will continue. Most city and LUB service departments, they're phasing back into full schedules over the next couple of weeks. Different departments are coming on at different times. Just remember that Governor Lee's Executive Order number 30 does prohibit participation in social, recreational gatherings of 10 or more people. Some of those are youth, adult sporting events, overnight youth camps, parks and playgrounds right now have been asked, as Mayor Aikens has, about that. They're going to remain closed for now. Tennis courts are open, public restrooms are open at the parks, and they're being cleaned following CDC guidelines. But right now, the basketball courts, soccer fields, they're still closed because of the potential of gathering more than 10 people at a time. So we'll just continue to monitor that and try to open the parks and playgrounds up as soon as possible. The Loudon Splash Pad will not open up in May. We're waiting to see if we can do that in June, pending any kind of announcement that comes from the governor's office. And just a reminder, outside of COVID-19, that the paving work's going to be starting in the next week or so for Highland Avenue. So residents that travel that route, that live up in that area, or maybe travel that road to get to downtown, you need to expect some delays, and those repairs will be finished by the end of June. We've been waiting on that, and it's been a long time coming, but it looks like we're getting really close to having that behind us. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Mayor Aikens.
Thank you, Mayor Harris. And at this time, we'll entertain any questions y'all may have.
The Highway 32111 construction project, can you give us an update on it?
Yes, thank you. It is scheduled to be completed by the end of the month, this month. If everyone would notice, or has noticed, I'm sure, that it goes through there, the paving started last night, and so we anticipate that project coming to an end, and I know the people of Lenoir City and elsewhere that comes through there will be happy to know that it's coming to the end, and it's just near completion.
I also understand that there's or I heard about it anyway, if it's true or not, is there some sort of a grant or something to synchronize these red lights?
There is. There's Lenoir City received a $2 million fiber optic signalization grant, and we are in the process of working on that, and it will be several more months before that is in place, but we are excited, and those red lights will be able to communicate between one another, and that will be on 321 and Broadway as well. So I know, it's very challenging at times to get, especially on 321. It seems like every other red light catches you, and the problem is we have those traffic signals synchronized, and they're so dated. The mechanical system is and I get a lot of questions about it. I appreciate you asking, Dan. They just get out of sync. So with this fiber optic signalization, it's just going to, it's the latest and greatest, but it will be installed. It's just going to take a couple more months to get it in place.
On a side note of that, Loudon City got the same grant, and they'll be replacing all of theirs as well.
Great.
So all those will be changed inside the city limits as well.
Just get ready to ask you that.
Yeah.
All right.
We applied for the same grant and got it.
Okay.
One question just come across mine, looks like for baseball. Is that right? baseball in Little City.
Yeah, we're still having baseball in Little City. We are going to have baseball. It's going to be a short season, obviously. Levon, do you know the date on that, when he's getting ready to start? They can call the Parks and Rec Department. 986-1223, 986-1223, and find out when that season will start. But sorry, I just don't have that data here available. But I know it's going to be a short season, obviously, but we are going to have it. Yes, sir.
Driver's license, there's a special provision, for travel and government buildings, all that. Has that been changed, or do you know, the cost of everything going on?
As far as renewals,
When you're renewing, you have to get into buildings, whatever. I mean,
You gotta have the
travel, all that.
star.
You're supposed to have a special star.
It's a real ID thing that you have.
I know that, yeah.
It's been pushed back.
Yeah, the real ID has been pushed back. I don't know. I think Darrell, is sometime next year, but I'm
Yeah,
not
it's supposed to be
sure.
in October this year, but I think it's been
Correct.
pushed back.
But people that are wanting to get that, you had to go to the building, I guess, to get that done, so I guess it's been pushed back. So
You can't do that online, can you?
Yes.
Can you?
Yes.
You can't do it.
You can do it online, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
now then, well, you have to do it, you have to come into the office to get your true ID, I think is what it's
Yes,
called.
real ID.
Real ID.
Okay, can you still do that?
Right now, no, but that's in the process. Sometime in June, that'll start back up.
Okay.
Now, the one exception we have is passports. We don't know when we're going to start doing passports again, just because that is typically a family ordeal that really overwhelms the numbers.
Anyone else?
Oh, yeah. The Lenoir City Fire Hall that's going on, the construction going on with it right now, what's the...
We anticipate that project being completed by the end of June, and right now we have a scheduled ribbon cutting opening for July the 9th, I believe it is, and we'll be announcing that date at a little bit later time, but right now it's set for July the 9th, and it's probably 75% complete, and of course, Lenoir City Fire Department, Station 1 has been in the same location probably for over, 45, 50 years. And of course, they have outgrown that facility many years ago, and so we're excited about being able to move the fire hall to the new location and to be able to accommodate those guys that works Station 1.
And of course, with them moving out, that impacts the restaurant that's going to be open.
It does, and let me say that the distillery is still on target to come into downtown Lenoir City. They did ask me for an extension of the contract. We gave them an extension, but they are still on target to come to Lenoir City. And of course, again, we're very excited to have them and look forward to them being able to get in there and renovate that building and get moved in, get opened up.
I've been told that the real ID is extended through October 1st, 2021.
Okay.
It's a whole year.
The real ID has been extended till October 21st, 2021. Anyone else?
Yes, I got a couple more, sorry. Splash pad construction, when is it going?
The splash pad construction for the downtown Central Park those plans have gone to the state, and we anticipate construction to start within the next 30 or 45 days, and we're still looking at a target date sometime in August to have a grand opening down there. So I know, thank you for asking that, Dan. I've had several calls. It just takes time, folks, when you're dealing with state grant dollars, and you got to cross the T's and dot the I's, but it is on target to open sometime in August.
And one more, and this is going to be probably for all three, and this is the biggest question of all. How is this going to affect the budget? The cities, the counties, the tax increases, everybody wants to know about property taxes. Are taxes going up, or what's going to happen with this?
The Budget Committee and I met last week. We do not intend anticipate a property tax hike in Lenoir City. We still currently, it's 99 cents per $100 value, so we do not anticipate a property tax hike. And obviously, it has affected the budget, and we know of 200,000+, but we do have money in reserves, and we intend to pull those monies out of reserves to balance the budget. I have not talked to the Lenoir City school system as of yet, of course, they just redone some bonds last year, or this year actually, and saved some money, and I would hope that they will be able to balance their budget as well. But it appears like that Lenoir City is going to have a balanced budget by taking monies out of reserves with no tax increase. We should know a little bit more later on this month.
As far as I'm going to address Loudon City, we're budgeting about a 10% decrease in revenues. Good thing for Loudon City is, only about less than 20% of our budget is sales tax. It's more property taxes, of about 50% of our budget. But it's a pretty static budget straight across from last year, basically the same carryover budget from last year with a 10% decrease in sales revenue, we think. But as Mayor Aikens said, we've got money in general fund that balance the budget out. We are looking to issue some debt service for paving, and we'll be discussing that in tonight's workshop to try to take advantage of low interest rates through RDA, road development, and we can borrow some money to hopefully pave all the streets in Loudon. That's what we're looking at this time, but we'll be discussing that in the workshop tonight. Mayor Bradshaw.
From a county standpoint, there's not even been an entertaining of a property tax increase at this time. Our sales tax revenue, we were at 100% at the start of the fourth quarter of this year, so we're good there. Of course, the whole real onset of this pandemic happened the week after property tax deadlines. We're over 99% on property tax collection as well. The best way to keep our taxes low, whether it's at Loudon County or our cities or wherever, is first, shop local. And second is get these censuses filled out, because that is a lot of revenue that we depend on to come into our different organizations, our government organizations, to help us maintain what we have. And so, that if you want to keep taxes low, that's two great ways to do it. Like I said, the census once every 10 years, but shopping local is so key. That is local jobs, local dollars that are going to be spent local for the most part, and that's just crucial. Now more than ever, I've talked to several county mayors around this area. We're very blessed and fortunate. There are a lot of counties that are really struggling. 34% tax increases, 35-cent tax increases, 25-cent tax increases. If you look at the counties that touch us, we are the lowest by a minimum of 28 cents of any property tax of any county that touches us. And so we do that because we're very fiscally responsible. We budget at 98% of the value of the tax penny. We usually collect more than 100% of our intended revenues, and so that helps us keep healthy. But it takes all of us doing it and buying here, staying here, spending our money here, and that's what's crucial.
And certainly, let me echo what Mayor Bradshaw said. It is so important that we shop local, and I want to remind the people of Lenoir City and Loudon County if you need something, please come to the wall. We depend on all businesses on 321 as well as downtown, but I would encourage people to shop the downtown stores. Those folks down there have really gone above and beyond over the last couple of years and put their heart and soul and their own money into revitalization of the downtown area, and just look at the way it looks today versus what it was just a couple of years ago. And before the pandemic hit, I think We had like 12 new businesses moved into downtown Lenoir City and over the last couple of years. So it's so very important that we support those downtown businesses. The big box stores will take care of themselves, but I just can't stress enough how we need to shop local and shop downtown. Any other questions? All right, once again, thank you all for coming. Appreciate you being here and trying to keep the public informed. Thank you.
You've been listening to a WLNT special report on 96.1 WLNT.